All right. This
So
is
do
the I'm Still Here project. I am Calendria Warrior, the owner and founder of Living Proof Outreach. We are honoring kings, okay? So we're honoring kings because we do it for the mamas, right? So why not honor some men? And I'm honoring men that they don't know, but they've played a part in my thinking and my process and how I do certain things today. And so we want to honor men, we want to honor the journey, we want to honor African American men that are in these streets doing things, right? So I have with me Joseph Arroyo. He's a king, right? He's gonna introduce himself, and then I'm gonna introduce my home skillet on the other side of the camera. He in the house. First of all, he slays some hair. Y'all ain't, I don't know, okay? Well, let's introduce yourself.
How you doing? My name is Minister Joseph Arroyo, Senior. I am the director of Living Proof Outreach, Community Services Outreach. I'm just an everyday guy. You know, I love human beings. I don't like some of their ways, but that's neither here nor there. As long as I push forward to help those that are in need from all walks and backgrounds, and it doesn't matter to me. I don't
discriminate.
I don't discriminate. I'm inclusive. I believe God's love is for everybody. You know what I mean? Right. And I just love people. I love to interview people, see where their heads are. You know, see how they think, see their innovation, and things of that nature. You know, and I push Calendria real hard to go to certain places I know that she could go. And sometimes when she want to give up, I don't let her give up. I push her, so she could get that industry up out of her. Mm-hmm. We all have an industry in us. We all have multitudes of thoughts and many things within us. So that's pretty much who I am. I'm a father of two. My daughter's 13, my son's 12. And I just wherever I can show up to be and do my part, that's where I am. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much who I am. You know.
And we have du jour artist. Okay, I'm gonna allow him to share who he is, what he does, his business, and then I want him to share how he know Calendria, or I don't even know what they called me back then. I really don't. I don't know if I was Mama CC. I don't know. He gonna tell y'all in these streets I was acting a fool. Okay, introducing du jour.
Hello. So I'm an artist. I am a hairstylist. I've been doing hair all my life, but I've been licensed for about 10 years now. I am the CEO of Jador Hair. So I do have my hair company. So I don't just sew it up. I sell it well. So it's a one-stop shop.
I'm just waiting for my one piece. That's all I'm saying. I think I have earned an opportunity to get sent a free sample.
I got I'm a definitely.
So we in these streets of New York can come on all the way to Richmond because we ain't afraid to drive.
I'll do something your way. Somebody ring my doorbell. Give me 2 seconds. I'm sorry.
You got it. I love this young man. This young man has been through a lot. He has faced a lot of bullying and all types of stuff. So I'm very honored to be interviewing him. The fact that he's a CEO, I can't wait for him to share how old he is. And he owns his hair. Like that hair is his. And I find that to be encouraging for this generation. So I hope you guys are encouraged by this. I hope that you guys can see that it can be done. And one thing I love about this generation, though, is they're not afraid to try and fail. Yeah. You know, we come from a microwave place that if it doesn't work out the first time, we throw it away. And du jour has started and stopped. And when he say all his life, he mean all his life. Like, I've never known him not to do hair. you know, and he wasn't just doing hair, he was doing healthy hair.
That's what's up.
You know what I'm saying? So when I started losing my hair, he was like, Mama, see, I got you. So yeah, go ahead. Who are you, baby boy?
Sorry. One of my neighbor just rang my doorbell. She needed something, so I had to help her out. But like I said, I've known Mama C for since I was a junior in high school. No,
Yeah.
Junior in high school. I've known her since then. Me and her daughter Faith. I went to Faith.
What can we
That
say
girl-
about Faith, right?
that
It's got the whole stadium turned up. Was you there for that game?
No, I was not. But that girl is a mess. That's my home. I haven't spoken to her in a while, but she's a mess. Every time we do talk, it's like back like we never left. But
right.
like she was saying before, I have been doing hair all my life. Like I tell people all the time, I didn't choose hair. Hair chose me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any family members that I know of that do hair. So
wow.
I have no sisters. My mom doesn't do hair. I mean, she do her own little 1-2 on her own head, but when it comes to like doing hair, I didn't have nobody to look up into and be like, oh, that's what I want to do. I don't know where it came.
Got you.
My mom can probably attest to say, like, before I can walk and talk good, I was playing in hair. Like, to the point where my mom has always had thick, long hair. And when I was younger, it would be something that would soothe me. So, like I said, I don't know where it came from. I've just been doing hair, and that's all I want.
Wow. So you started off in the tech center, right?
Yes.
You got accepted to the cosmetology program. And share with us how, like, when you arrived at hair in a generation where, at that time anyway, in Richmond, right? We could talk about it.
Yeah.
There's a stigma out there, right? A guy doing hair, really? Like, how did you navigate Huguenot High School and say, no, I don't want to go to school to work on a car. I don't want to go to school. Like, how did that conversation happen? And how did you stand in that truth?
Okay. So, okay. So, we're going to start off with, I went to TJ. I went to Tech, but I went to TJ. So, that didn't start in high school. That you should be working on cars situation. You should be doing boy stuff starting in elementary school. I've been when I tell you I've been doing it since I can remember.
Wow. So they've been trying to take the brush out of your hand from jump.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it even got to a point where I can remember bullying used to be really bad in school because I always was different.
Dress different, act different, move different. Yeah.
I was out of the norm, like the way I spoke.
And I think that's why Faith grew to you too.
Yeah, it was just all around difference. I spoke different. I acted different. I did hair. Like I'm in elementary school, second, third grade, and summer school braiding my teacher's hair, my white teacher's hair. So it goes that deep for me.
Gotcha.
So always been, kids would make fun of me and be like, that's not what boys do. That's what girls do. So it wasn't by the time I got to high school, it didn't matter to me anymore because at this point, so by the time I got to high school, my mind was already made up. This is what I'm doing. I really don't care what you have to say.
It's not gonna stop you.
This is what I'm doing. To the point where I'm putting up flyers around school. Yeah,
that's right.
5. I'm doing everything. To the where my mama come in the kitchen and be mad, be pissed off because
you got the whole cheerleading squad in your daggone kitchen.
I got somebody in the kitchen. My mama come home from a long day of working, ready to cook, and I got hair stuff all over my stove. I got curling irons everywhere. Like my mom, like it goes that deep.
Wow. How did you navigate that? Like what, when you talk about, because I've been doing mental health since you met me, right? When you talk about the depression and the anxiety that's attached to that bullying, right? Or that's attached to navigating that, you've always, to me, walked in that truth. Like you never shied away. I think you, from many other people in your generation, you've always been respectful with it. Like you've never been the flamboyant version, right?
Right.
So what in your mom, in your dad, in your family, like what spiritually has grounded you to that? Because I think that's what made me feel safe with you even being around Faith. Because I was very particular about who I allowed Faith and Zanaya, for that matter, to hang out with. So how did you navigate that, and where did that timidity come from? Because you was very, even though you had to go there sometimes, you still was very respectful with it.
But my mom, the respectfulness that's always been instilled in me. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, all of that. That has always been, no matter
the
what
expectation, right?
Or it doesn't matter. My mom didn't care what I did, just as long as you have manners. That's a across the board type of situation. But as far as the flamboyancy and the not overly flamboyant, that's never with me. But for me, it was always a difference. Like my speaking voice. A lot of times people be like, "Oh, you sound like a girl. Oh, you have a more feminine voice." I can't help that. It just
right.
That played a very big mental thing for me. I feel even to how I treat my everyday, and even in my adult life and how I go about in my career, I'm finding that a lot of those traumas that I never dealt with is starting to come up to the surface.
And tell us how young you are, baby.
I'm 27.
Wow, you're a baby.
You're all baby in these streets, man. I've known you since you was what, 14, 15?
I was 16. 16, yes.
Wow.
Oh, wow. So, knowing that Mama Cece was in that field, and knowing that, depression and anxiety and all those things was something that I concentrated on, did you always feel safe in that?
Well, for me, I've always a lot of that depression, anxiety kind of stuff, I kind of pushed to the back burner. So a lot of things really didn't come up. So like when it comes down to the mental, I dealt with it by not dealing with it. So when I became around you, I was already emotionally intelligent to, okay, I seen you as a mother figure. So for me, it was, okay, well, you're probably around the same age as my mom. So ultimately, I know how to carry myself. I'm not going to say I gave a mask, or like it was a mask. It was just, okay, this version of du jour is how I do. And it's not just with you, it's just with adults, period. This is how I present myself here. This is how I present myself here. And then maybe me and my friends, if you get close enough to me, this is how I present myself here. And now all of my friends get the same version of me. So each friend has their version of du jour. So everybody can say the same. They can say the same thing, but if you're close to me, then you'll know, okay, That's a way about him. You only get one side.
Yeah, at one time.
And did you ever feel, it's funny how you befriended Faith, and I think you're the same age as Anaya. Are y'all in the same, did y'all graduate together?
No. So my birthday's late. So
Got it.
with my birthday being late, me and Faith graduated together.
Got it. So you were supposed to graduate with Anaya.
Yes. So age-wise, when I graduated high school, I was already 18 when I graduated.
Got you.
Faith is younger than me by a year, but the way my birthday rolls around, my birthday rolls in October. So by the time school started, I ended up going.
Got you. So when we talk about the lifestyle, so let's put that out there, right? What is your lifestyle so that we can all be on the same page?
Oh, I'm gay. I'm very much,
way be. I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
I very much rainbow
did you
to the
always feel accepted by Faith? Because that's going to say a lot about me as a parent.
So, funny thing about that, I was living in denial when it came down to that.
Wow.
So, I really didn't come out until I was about 21. I was 20 when I came out. Everybody around me knew what it was. I was struggling with it.
Wow. Talk about that. What does that struggle look like in your generation? Because I think, all around the board, we're struggling, right? But you're a dark-skinned chocolate Black man living in the city of Richmond, conservative town, Confederate, and how do you navigate that? Especially because you worked in salons that weren't all Black.
Right. So when it came down to that, it's always been gay is wrong. So for me, I've always struggled with that. Even down to elementary school, with me doing hair, oh, that's gay. Oh, you're so
wow. So you didn't identify with it at that time? No. When I met you?
Right. No, I was not identifying as that at the time.
That's listen. My brain cells.
Everybody knew.
I was down with the rest of them then.
Everybody picked it up, but I wasn't in a place where I can accept it and say, yes, I am.
Would you say you was uncomfortable?
Got it. Were you uncomfortable because of the religious side of you, or was you uncomfortable because of? Oh yeah, or that too. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. I wasn't sure.
Okay.
It was. I was in denial of it.
How do you come about it? Yeah.
And the denial was because I always knew something was different about me.
Gotcha.
I always knew that. I always, in a standpoint of, I was being called gay before I actually knew what it was. I was being called gay since I was in probably first, second grade.
Wow.
So, to be honest, and that was a bullying tactic. Oh, you're gay. This is wrong. You do hair. You want to jump rope with you want to hang out with them versus us. Before I even knew I was attracted to that. But I was already being called and labeled that. So because the way I acted, I've always been this way. So I can't say, oh, a flip switch or what have you.
Yeah, so you woke up somewhere.
See me, this has been me all my life. So ultimately, I didn't know that was gay. It was just who I was.
Gotcha.
Wow, that's a whole new.
That's gonna help somebody.
Yeah, that's gonna help somebody. And so when you say, "Damn," so somebody said those words to you, you never even understood what it was. So how do you navigate that in high school when at that time, what, 2000s?
It wasn't nothing to
but
it wasn't nothing to change into. It was just
it was you.
Yeah.
So when friends would say y'all get together, y'all talking or whatever, what would that conversation look like when you say, no, I just like to do hair, I'm not gay? So what was the challenge? Was the challenge, okay, Dijon, cool, but you act this, like, how was that conversation?
Or did you like
did you correct people?
No, like, did you deny it or you just let it be?
Yeah.
I denied it. I always said, oh no, I like girls. I denied it. So and the crazy part about it was I never had a relationship until I turned 20. So I never dated anybody. I never had a boyfriend, girlfriend. Nobody saw me with anybody. That wasn't my focus. My focus was
hair.
I'm here to do hair. I want to do hair. I want to talk about music. I want to,
they thinking about it more than you are.
Right. Yeah. So you didn't do the whole kickback parties. You didn't do none of that. You just did hair. Yeah. That was what you got lost in. That was your coping mechanism.
Yeah, me and my homegirls, like I had a tight set group of friends that we were friends since middle school. My homegirl Shayla, Noelle, Brianna, Kyla. We've been friends since middle school. And for us, they was in the band. So they in band, they're in the IB program. So it was, got my thing, which is hair. We like to eat, like music. I'm gonna go to your game and see y'all perform. Most of my friends were on the flag team or they were dancers. So I'm doing their hair before it's time for them to go on the
absolutely.
Or after the game, we going to Waffle House or we going to Red Lobster, and then we coming back home and we chilling. We going bowling. We doing stuff like that. So it
doing
really
young stuff.
Right. So you met Faye at the tech center then?
Yes, I met Faye.
So y'all didn't go to. That's where the mix up was. You didn't go to Huguenot.
No, I met her through the tech center, and I met her. I believe it wasn't junior year. It was senior year. I took Miss Gresham class in my senior year.
Yes.
So we became close my senior year. And then we just kept our friendship after we graduated.
Wow.
Right. Wow. So when you think about your relationship with Faith, has that been an open conversation with her? Like, okay, so you didn't come out till you was 20.
It really wasn't even a come out. It was just that everybody knew it. They were waiting for me to say something.
You were just accepting the fact, yeah.
So it is crazy because everybody knew it except within my household.
Wow.
So, and I can't say my whole household. I say the two people, it was two of us that were in denial for what was going on.
So who was the two?
You and mom?
You and mom or you and your brother?
Me and my mother.
Wow.
My brother already knew. When we talked about it, he was like, I already knew. And then life carried on.
That's crazy.
But I wouldn't think your mom would be in denial. She's so open with you.
Oh, yes, very much so was in denial.
She just didn't want.
Really?
She didn't want to accept that.
She didn't want to accept it.
Moms always want you to be what they think you are.
Where it's like, no, Ma, you knew.
You just didn't want to deal with it.
So how do you navigate that now? So is your relationship still good? You always had a close relationship with your mom. Yeah.
No, I didn't.
No.
Oh, you was a good faker. Oh, I want to come beat you now.
I know. Now listen, I've always had love for my mother, always had respect for my mother. But me and my mom's relationship, we weren't close.
Once
like in a seeing eye to eye kind of way?
Yeah, because what does that look like?
Seeing eye to I was seeing in high school was more so I'm 16, 17, and my mom is trying to raise teenage boys, so it was more of that type of situation there. And then after I came out to her, it was, I'm not talking to you.
Wow.
And that was on my end.
Wow.
After I came out to her. And it was a forceful come out.
Wow.
Why was it a forceful come out? And how are you navigating not talking to her?
Oh, I was just existing.
Wow.
I was like, by the time I graduated high school, I was working. So I was working hard. So
yes.
I was
2-3 jobs.
Wow. I was doing hair at Hair Cuttery, but then I would work Hair Cuttery probably 6 days a week. And then after I leave work, I'm going to do your hair at your house.
So you like evaded the house, being around mom and all that.
Yeah,
like, so you stayed at work or yeah.
I was never home until it was time for me to go and lay my head. So it was more so of coming and going.
Did you do it purposely, or did you do it because it was just you working on it?
It was a little bit of both. I didn't want to be home. My mom was the one, so the not being extra, that's my mom is very conservative. Gotcha. She's loving.
That's what she don't say.
Wrong. Yeah. But my mom is from King William County. So
oh yeah, that says it all. That says it all. Wow. Yeah. Because King William County is like Hanover County.
Yes. You gotta pass
very
Hanover.
White, very conservative, very religious.
So it was like what she don't say.
Yeah.
It's like she's saying a lot, but it's what she didn't say.
Yeah.
Right?
Very passive aggressive.
Yes, my mom was very passive aggressive. My mom is very much so. I get it very honest from her. I can tap into it.
You really could.
Nasty thing. And I can tap into it real good.
Wow.
Where she can say something to you and she gonna check you, but you walked away like maybe 2 seconds later, like, well, did she just say that to me?
Say that.
It's one of them.
So wow.
With my mother being so conservative, there were moments in my childhood where it was like, do you have to do all that? Or it was like when I started wearing hair. So I love big curly hair. So I didn't start wearing weave until my adult life. But when I started growing my hair out, it was, okay, do we gotta wear the red one? Can we do something else? Or do we gotta do this? Can we do? So earlier in my childhood, I was more so trying to conform to everybody else and not to be made fun of. And then my adult life, my teenage to adult life, it was, I'm not a school now, so I don't care what nobody, I don't really care. I'm not being bullied anymore, but I'm at home, but my mom is being like, when we go around family, can we not do it? So can we not talk about hair so much? Or can we not?
Wow. So that
sort of like she didn't want to be ashamed.
Yeah, it almost like it
made her feel ashamed a little bit.
Yeah, it sets you up for that feeling of inadequacy very, very young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when you made that harsh decision, because I'm sure that hurts, because one thing you did do was take care of your brothers. You got one brother or 2 brothers?
I have 2.
You took care of them brothers. You're the oldest sibling, right?
Yes.
And so you was very integral in making sure your brothers were taken care of. You was very integral in making sure the household got taken care of. There was times, I did notice that, there were times where you was putting forth a whole lot more work than some of the rest of the household was. So how did some of that play out? Like at 21, we're like, okay, I'm coming out. I'm done with you. It wasn't just the coming out for you. It was more, I'm done with conforming all the way around the table.
But what I want to know is, and this is how we'll know, what's your nationality?
Oh, yeah.
I could guess it, but I'm not. But
I know I'm not either. I ain't going there.
But your
I do.
nationality has a lot to do with it.
So, I do
Right?
want to hear this.
The only way I know is I know of like a West Indian or Jamaican background, somewhat.
I don't know. All I know
That's
is
crazy.
my mom is Black. My dad is. My mom is from William County by way of Delaware.
Okay.
And my dad, he's from Franklin, Virginia.
Okay.
So
and Franklin, Virginia is north or south?
seven cities area, like Virginia Beach,
Got
North.
it, like Virginia Beach area. Got it.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it could be the temperament of whatever
Don't
of your nationality.
She is.
Don't let the hair.
Huh?
Don't let the hair fool you.
No. I'm not. I see beyond. Like
Okay.
I do see beyond. Yeah.
No.
I'm not even talking about that.
No, your nose.
You have like
your facial.
Yeah.
And your name. Why did your mom name you your name?
My mom didn't name me. My dad did.
So yours pretty French. It's like a Creole type of thing.
So the name is French, but my people aren't that. So the story behind my name is, my dad used to DJ. He used to DJ, and he probably danced at one point, but there was a music band by the name of that's where my name came from.
Got it. So do you have a relationship with your dad?
Somewhat.
That was the next question. Yeah.
Okay.
We're better now.
Gotcha.
Okay. So is it healthier than your relationship with your mom?
Or you and your mom like got that together?
Yeah. Are you and your mom better now, or is it still
me and my mom are
boundaries?
better? Me and my mom are better. Me and my dad, we're better. I'm gonna say it's not all around amazing. I'm not gonna say it's all around just great and peaches and cream, but with me and my mom, we have aspects of we're doing better. I love you because you were there for me. You're my mother. You were there the entire time. Me and my dad, it's okay. I forgive you. I love you, and you're my dad. And at this point, this is where.
Right.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah. And did you get there because you did therapy?
No. So with me and my mom, because there were two separate breakdowns when it came down to my mom and my dad. My dad, that breakdown, I could write a book, but
you gonna.
With the dynamic with my father, he was in my life for a nice amount of time. He was an electrician, so he worked in the union. So therefore he was traveling up and down the East Coast for work. Gotcha. I've always realized that. He's always been there for birthdays. He's always been present in the household. Up until I would probably say 6th or 7th grade. He traveled for work and didn't come back home.
Wow.
It was a situation where neither my mom nor my brothers, we didn't know if he was dead or alive for a long time. Me, and also, so I'm get a little bit of back. I'm gonna go a little bit back just for a quick second. My mom and dad, so my dynamic, my household, my house was the house that my mom and dad brought. And they're still living, and my mom is still living there. My childhood house is the house I've lived at for my entire life up until this past year when I moved into this apartment.
Okay.
My mom and dad, my mom got married at 31. They were married, had that household, and then a year later came me. Gotcha. So my mom and dad were married all the way up until I graduated high school.
Wow.
But wasn't together?
They were married together, living in the same household, everything. All of my brothers well, all of my brothers except one. So I have 3 brothers in total, 2 of which are from my mom and my mom and my dad.
Okay.
So within that, my dad, like I said, so mind you, I said my mom and my dad have been married since I graduated high school.
Mhm.
But 2 seconds ago, I just told you how my dad traveled for work and never came home.
Gotcha.
So
That's how your third brother came?
Yo, it's to drop the mic for me.
yes
But
and
the
no.
fact that you try to protect your mama at the same story, Lord,
It's understood.
The third
Lord.
my dad and not my mom.
Say it again.
The third brother is from my dad and not my mom.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
So to give a slight little family dynamic. So with my brothers, so I have a younger brother that's right under me. That's Ruben. He's 24. So I'm 27. My younger brother's 24. I have a brother who is 17.
Wow.
So these are the 2 brothers that are from my mom and my dad together, collectively within the marriage. So there's 3
Got it.
in that household.
Okay.
I found out about my third brother about, I'm gonna say 5 years ago.
Wow.
He is remember the ages that I told you about my brothers are. This third brother, he's 18.
Lord.
He's before you younger. Gotcha. Wow.
So your father was in these streets. Okay.
So those are all the siblings that I personally know of.
Right. Right.
When I found out about the third brother, it was like, okay, well, there could possibly be more, but I don't know. All I know is I have 3 brothers in total. Just found out about the third one. Well, technically, he would be my second brother. Technically,
Yeah, because right. Wow. So there's a lot of disappointment there. There's a lot of, family secrets, family dynamics.
But this is also, I found out about this after the conversation. So my dad, like I told you, my dad left when I was about 6th or 7th grade. We didn't know if he was dead or alive for a long time. And I didn't see him again, hear from him, no calls, no nothing until I got to my 9th grade year. So about 2 years, he's gone.
He was Chuck Norris, missing in action, huh?
No, nothing. Just gone.
Wow.
So for me, that hurt me a lot because I'm kind of like, you were here and now you're not.
Right.
So for some people, like, I never had a dad. And I'm like, well, I'd much rather have not had one than to have one and then it be snapped.
Right.
Without no, because it wasn't like he died. It wasn't. I didn't know. It was just poof in the wind. He was gone.
Wow.
On a milk carton.
My mom is still I still have connections with my dad's side of the family. So my mom, he was lying to my grandmother. So when it came down to it, even his side of the family didn't know where he was. So nobody knew where he was. And we got to my freshman year of high school and he just miraculously pops up one day.
Like, how you doing? He went to the bathroom.
Like he went to the store for milk and got lost.
My mom was like, I came home from school one day. I'll never forget it. I came home from school and my mom was like, your dad went. And I'm like,
that's
what?
Crazy shit. That's crazy.
Like, your dad wants to see you. And I remember I took a walk and I come back home and here he is standing in the middle of my den.
Damn.
So at that point, I was forced to talk to him. And I've kind of found out a couple things. So he told me that he had went away, he was in jail for a second. And, he had told me a couple other things. I can't remember verbatim, but I remember he was gone. He had a whole lot of stuff going on. He didn't know how to tell us, and he didn't know how to, he just didn't know how to navigate.
Wow.
So there was.
That's incredible.
So around that time, it was my birthday time. I remember it was my birthday time. He left because he couldn't stay at my mom's house, so he left to wherever he was staying at. Came back for around my birthday time to spend my birthday and my other brother's birthday, because if you spend time for one, you have to spend time for the other, because me and my youngest brother, our birthdays are 2 days apart. So his birthday is October 21st. Mine is October 23rd. So if you come down for one, you got to come down for the other. Yeah. So when it came down to that, that was the last. So after my birthday, I hadn't seen him again until Christmas. Wow. After that, I hadn't seen him again until my senior year of high school.
Wow.
And the only reason I seen him then was because my grandmother passed.
Wow.
So my grandmother on my dad's side. Now, me and my grandmother had just started becoming close. Me and her, we always had a relationship because my grandmother. But I started pointing in on me and her.
Who she was.
Right, getting to know who she really was. Right.
Me and her, our personalities are almost the same. A lot of that is
I can see that, because you definitely got an old soul. You got an old soul.
A lot of that came from her. So she don't care what she say out her mouth. She gonna talk. She would talk. she talked mess about my daddy so bad. It was hilarious. I loved it. So, right. And my grandmother always accepted me.
I was getting ready to ask that. I was getting ready to ask that.
I'm not even going to go into the gay thing, because that wasn't even a thing.
No, it was just accepting you for that's my grandbaby. Period.
Yes,
and he does hair, and that's what it is. Right.
So it was, you gonna do my hair? I need you to do my hair like Mary J. Blige. I won't. That's all, because Mary J. Blige at the time had the mushroom. She was like, I want that. I want you to do my hair.
Right.
You gonna do that for me? So it was always those type of conversations. Like, I remember she had got me a birthday card, and it had nothing. It was, I don't remember what the gist of the birthday card was, but it had two women getting their hair done, the dryer.
Oh, bendito.
I still have that card to this day. But that card, it like, I read the card, I'm like, this don't even make sense. But I'm like, I know why you got it, because it had something to do with hair. And I even remember, I'm not sure if y'all familiar with the movie or the musical Hairspray.
Yes.
So she got me that DVD. Now, mind you, I don't think she knew I liked musicals. I think she just saw
it was Hairspray, right? It was.
I ended up loving the movie because I love musicals, but that wasn't the reason why she got me that movie. She got it because this is her grandson. This what he liked. This is it.
Right.
So, when she passed, I kind of took that kind of hard. That was the.
And then you was about to graduate out of high school. Like, dad comes back out of nowhere. Graduating high school, you're shutting one door.
Wasn't enough time.
You're opening another door, and then now your grandmother passes, the one person in your circle at the time that supports whatever. Mm-hmm. Similar to when my grandmother passed. So let me ask you this: when you talk about the denial piece, where are you today?
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm on the denial piece. I'm accepting 100%. I'm working on accepting all of me.
What does that mean?
There are some dark pieces that I'm maneuvering within me, and there are some truths that's like, well, maybe you need to, look a little deeper inside and say, this is who you are, and this is what it is. The gay piece, that's it. At that point, at the piece of me being gay and struggling with that, there isn't any more struggle with that. This is who I am. This is who I've always been. So I can't say there's a flip there's a switch where I can flip it on and off. because
So did your friends, it must be that you got that group of friends has truly been your rock, I'm gonna assume.
yes and no.
Okay.
I'm gonna say yes, they've accepted me for who I was. And when I did come out, it was, but there were some things that they didn't even know about me. I can't even say they were my rock. A lot of things that I dealt with, I dealt with alone. So when my mother passed, I can remember it verbatim. I did my homegirl's hair in my room. My homegirl Whitney, she came and got her hair done. I was at the bus stop because the bus stop, you could see it from my house.
Yeah, I know. On the south side.
Yes. So I walked her to the bus stop and I'm coming back. And my mom is telling me, she says, DJ, sit down. Grandma Sally passed. And I'm like, what? What? Okay. So and that was that. And I had to go to school and all of that. I had to deal with that. And it was what it was. But we weren't close yet. We weren't close then. We were going to see her more often than what we were. I felt a way because you're supposed to be coming to my graduation. I had just got my license. Wow. So I'm supposed to be coming down to come get you. I'm gonna come do
expectation.
I'm coming to bring you down. Come to graduation, and she didn't make it. She actually passed right before prom. So actually, no. Yeah, it was right before prom. I remember verbatim because it was like almost a sequence of events. Me and my grandmother passed. No, me and Faith, we had a state competition.
I know. I'm like, yes, I remember this.
This was
I think you stayed at our house a couple of nights after she passed. You didn't want to stay at home. I remember that. I was like, what happened? And she was like, Mom, can DeJour stay over? And I was like, man, who, what? And she was like, well, you know he's gay. And I was like, does he know he's gay? But I'm like, no, ain't no man coming in. He was like, no, Mom, his grandmother passed away. He's not doing good right now. And I remember you sleeping on her floor for like a day.
It was a moment of it. We went to state competition.
Yeah.
A week later, my grandmother passed.
Yeah.
Then the week after that, it was prom. Jesus. So ultimately, I really didn't have a chance to, like, at the funeral, I lost it. At the
funeral. You broke down, right. But then you had prom, so it was like a high, low.
Yeah, it was very much high, low. Yeah, but yeah. I lost it at the funeral.
Wow.
Not in the funeral, because I walked in there and I'm like, in my mind, I'm having a conversation with her in the funeral.
Right.
But then I walk out.
And you realize that there's no
I'm walking out the funeral and I see my Aunt LaWanda kind of starts to cry. And at that point, I couldn't hold it anymore. And I lost it. So that was that. And that was ultimately the first time I seen my father since my 9th grade year.
Wow.
So it was a lot of things that happened within that time period. Because my parents got divorced also within that weekend. They didn't tell us this, but I know because during the repass, they were doing a lot of back and forth. And they were doing a lot of, I couldn't hear everything that was going on, but I remember my mom kept going, we need to go to a notary, we need to get this signed, we need to get this signed, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do that. So in my adult life, looking back on it, I can say, this is what was happening.
Wow.
So that's going on then, there.
So no tactness. How you at a funeral worrying about a divorce?
No, because ultimately that was the first time my mom saw him.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, even for him, like, dude.
No. That wasn't on him. It was on her. My mother's like, oh, this is what we're doing. because ultimately my mom was dating.
Right. So it's like, yeah, like, come on, enough is enough. Right. But dad, boy.
It was years that they were separated.
Right.
So at this point, my mom is dating, he's dating, because my mom also told me that he brought his fiance to
the funeral.
The visual. Or not the visual, but they had went to meet with the family. My dad went to go see
like
everybody.
A repass or something, yeah.
And this was not at the funeral, because I said, oh, I wish he would bring her to the funeral. It wasn't at the funeral. It wasn't at the repast. It was before the funeral when everybody got the news.
Got you.
First showed his face. My mom, because this was the funeral. That was the first time. Well, that when my grandmother passed, that was the first time his family saw him. So
yeah. Wow.
So nobody saw him until my grandmother passed. So that was already being done. It was already being in the works. The paperwork was already in the works. It was
just her saying, listen, we got to get this signed because I don't know if you're going to disappear for another 5 years.
Exactly. Right. I know when I'm going to see you again. So let's get this done while I have it.
Right.
Type of situation. So for me, I didn't read it as insensitive. I don't read it as insensitive.
Right.
Wrong place, maybe, but I don't know when I'm gonna see you again, and I need to do this now.
Right. So mom navigated a lot of hurt, a lot of abandonment, trying to raise boys. Yeah. So mom did the best she could. You know what I mean? And it's hard when we have faith in these men, and you saw it. I was able to fake it really well. Nobody knew what I was going through with Faith's dad. I'm sure you knew a little bit because Faith was very honest with you. I'm sure in high school because she struggled a lot. And that's how I knew her friends and the people that she hung out with. She was always with the underdog. She never liked the big crowd. You know what I mean? Half of Faith's fights that she got into is because she was defending somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody.
I'm like, all right, girl, you ain't have to fight for him.
Yes, and she always got the ass end of the stick for that.
Right.
And so I guess as we almost come to a close, when you think about, I created I'm Still Here because I wanted people to have a voice, right? You were there in my beginning stages in 2017 when I started going live and doing these things. And so when you think back on I'm Still Here and you think about, damn, Kalen, Mama C, you've been doing that since then when it wasn't viral, when it wasn't cool to do, right? And the comparison to then and now, what are some trends you can now say, Dad, you was on to something and we didn't even know you was on to something? Because some of them lives you would come on with me and be like, yes, I love that song. And yeah, because the goal was always for me to make being a believer fun. That's why I started it from the beginning. It was make a believer fun and then also bringing the mental health awareness, because I saw our kids dying day after day after day. And I was like, somebody got to say something.
And it was tough. I'm going to say, even with me being gay bringing that to my belief system.
Right.
That was tough.
Yeah.
That was very, very, very tough, especially being raised in the church my entire life, to the point where I even preached a sermon twice on forgiveness when I was in, I think my freshman year of high school, or sophomore year of high school. One of those years I preached on it. So ultimately, religion has always been, and my belief system has always been a thing for me. It was tough when it comes down to being in I'm gonna call it the alphabet community, LGBTQIA, ABCDEFG, community, because we keep adding letters, so we might as well just claim the whole alphabet.
I need y'all to leave my letters and the rainbow alone. Give it back to me, okay? Go ahead.
So it was tough, and I think that was a thing for me too, like from my family too. And it was also that was also played in a denial piece because I wasn't, even though my family knew and they were waiting on me to say something, I didn't feel comfortable enough to say anything because I would hear different conversations that would be had about my cousin. I would hear different conversations about people that they would see. So I'm like, oh no, I'm not gonna say nothing. And then different, I'm gonna say sermons that I heard within, I was like, oh no.
Right.
This can't be it. This can't be, I can't be. No. So that was a huge denial piece added to the trauma that I dealt with as a child outside of my. So it was coming to me in all angles. So
right, spiritually, physically, home, school, right.
I had to almost desensitize. So at home, when I'm at home, it was I'm gonna be me, but I'm not gonna do all of that. All of that stays outside. When I get home, I really, they bullying me, but if I get around the right people, that's just what it is. Like I don't have to see those people on a day-to-day. And then I had a struggle within myself because I'm like, I don't know. This can't be it. And this can't be right. This isn't right. And it was hurtful. And even to the point where me coming out, I'm an open book. So I can be honest. So I'm HIV positive. So
pause, because this is news to me, man, sir. Okay. You're gonna make me cry.
No, don't. Please don't. I don't want you to feel sad because that's not where I am, and that's not where I thought I was going to be. I never that's a piece of me, but it ain't that deep to me. So in that period, how I got it was, I'm gonna say, when my first time, it was an experiment. I can't be gay, so this is what I did. I said I'm gonna try it, and if I don't like it, this is not what it is. And that's not, and it ended up backfiring. So later on down the road in my experimental period, I contracted that. So it came from a being in denial, but I'm like, this is what I'm attracted to, and I know I'm attracted to this, but I know this isn't right because I'm hearing this isn't right. So let me try this in secret and see what happens.
Wow.
So
how old was you? How long have you been HIV positive?
I was 20 years old. So all this time I was a virgin. All this time until I turned 20 years old, July 11th, 2017, I was diagnosed. Wow. And during that time period, I still wasn't out yet. I still was in denial. I was doing what I was doing, but in secret. Nobody knew what was going on at all. Wow. I was driving. So at this point, I would sneak out the house at 20 years old, living at my mom's house. I would sneak out the house and go do what I do. Or I would go and work. I'll work for however long, and then what I do after I finish. And by that point, it's late, and I'll get home. By the time I get home, I'm in the house, and nobody ever knew anything of what happened. So in that time period, that's what happened. So that's where that came from. And then for me and my mom, where our breakdown came into play was, I got sick. I got sick real bad. I called thrush, which is, quick little explanation. Thrush, you find it in people with their immune system has been depleted. So you either find it in babies, patients with leukemia, and HIV.
And cancer, because I get it. I have breast cancer. Yeah.
So When I caught thrush,
Wow.
I didn't know that's what it was. I thought it was strep throat. So, and I lost a lot of weight. I'm already small. So I had lost the weight and my mom starts to see it and she's like, what's going on? So at this point, when they diagnosed me with thrush, they didn't fully diagnose me quite yet. They kept testing me for strep throat and it kept coming back negative. So one of the nurses came in the room when my mom walked out and said, I think you have thrush. And I'm like, what's that? And she's like, with your immune system. I'm like, oh, well, I'm working real hard. Is it because I ain't been treating my body like I'm supposed to? And she's like, diabetes in leukemia patients, HIV patients, and babies. And I'm like, well, I don't have leukemia. I'm not a baby. So I still was like, no, this can't be right. So I didn't take that. I didn't take that right yet. I got sick again. I got an ear infection and my lymph nodes had swollen. So I the doctor. It wasn't nothing crazy. I could still work. I was still working. I was still doing what I had to do. I was still, living my life. But the ear infection carried me to the doctor. I'm like, okay, my ears are hurting. Let me get some medication so they clear this up. My mom was like, if you're going to the doctor, tell them what's going on with your weight and tell them what's going on with your lymph nodes. Tell them, she didn't know lymph nodes. She said, tell them what's going on with your neck. Neck is swollen. Tell them what's going on and ask what's going on because something's not right. So I said, okay, Ma, whatever. I'll ask. Whatever. Brushed it off. I'll let you know the results when I come back. Yeah, whatever. I go to that doctor's appointment and she goes, well, I'm going to test you for this. Have you did it? I wanted to, have you been tested for HIV? Nope. Brushed it off. Boom, boom, boom. She said, okay, I'm going to run a couple tests on you and whatever comes back, if anything comes back unnormal or negative, we're going to send you to the ear, nose, mouth. Yeah, that's
ENT.
okay. Cool. Yeah, okay, whatever, cool. I'm gonna call you back in 2 weeks. If I call you back sooner than 2 weeks, something's wrong. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't hear back for 2 weeks. So I'm like, all right, cool. I go to my doctor's appointment and they tell me you are HIV. So during that period, I didn't tell nobody. All I told was that I was dealing with talking to a dude. We weren't dating. We weren't in a relationship. I was talking to him. I told him what was going on. I kept everything else to myself. I didn't tell nobody. I went to work. I went on vacation. I went on those group of friends that my core group of friends back then. I went on vacation with them, had lived it up, had a great time. Nobody knew what's going on with me the entire time. August came around and I'm now letters are getting sent home because the health department has to send letters. I know what's going on, but for the state, they have to. That's what it is.
This was 2017?
This is 2017. All this is 2017. Summer 2017. Because my brother graduated high school then, so I remember this is a year I won't forget.
I remember the show. That's when I started doing the lives. I'm like, why didn't you talk to me, Roy?
Didn't nobody know? Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew. I was going through that by myself. Ultimately, I wasn't even going through it. I pushed it back to the back burner. I'll deal with it later.
Wow.
All I did was I kept up with my doctor's appointment like they told me to. I was driving, so I didn't tell nobody what was going on. So I had a car by then. So ultimately, I was dealing with it by myself.
By yourself, yeah. Wow.
And didn't tell nobody.
But they have a really good support system when it comes to their HIV community in Richmond now.
They did. They definitely did. I love my doctors, love my nurses. They were
Yeah,
awesome.
They have a very, and they do all around. They don't just come in and get your medicine. They make sure you're mentally okay, physically okay. Wow.
So the question is now is how do you manage everything? How do you stay balanced?
Yeah,
with your spirituality, with the fact that you have HIV, your blood count, do you keep track of all that and
then how do you navigate Yeah, but yeah, because
you know,
your
attitude.
yeah, that too. And then how do you navigate that? And you know, you went from hair cuttery to owning your own hair.
In spite of.
You know, and for me, I feel bad as your auntie or your mama see, like, boy, don't you ever go through and like I can really understand from a mother's perspective, like we never want our kids to suffer alone, DeJour. Like no matter what the F we go through, and no matter what we have put y'all through as our parents, as your parents.
And a difference.
I took my daughters to their first doctor's appointment. I took my sons to their first doctor's appointment. So to want to hold your hand in that process or try to be there as best we know how, and to deal with that in your own little bubble, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think y'all really understand as moms that we can feel y'all. No matter how far y'all go from us, we can feel when y'all are hurting. We can feel when you're struggling. We can feel when you are not doing good. You know what I mean? And so how do you navigate that alone and not bring somebody in on the battle?
It was easy. And I'm going to say it was easy because I'm used to it. I was used to it since I was in elementary school. My mom didn't know the half of the bullying that I was going through as a kid because I was different. So because I was different, because I got acne premature. So ultimately, my mom knew the half, but she didn't know all. So ultimately, I'm used to it. So when it came down to the diagnosis, me and my mom stopped talking. When I finally told her what was going on, I was living at home, but me and her stopped talking because it was a forceful come out. My mom, she said, I know something's going on with you. Tell me. And I'm like, Ma, I don't want to talk about it. Ma, I don't want to talk about it because I hadn't dealt with it yet because I pushed it back and I kept moving. So when she pushed me and pushed me to the point where I had to tell her, I was like, oh, you done I'm done. I don't want you now. You know, it is what it is. I don't have to talk to you right now. And I don't want to talk to you right now because I haven't dealt with it. So I'm not going to incorporate you dealing with it with me. But
was it more shame or was it more, I just want to protect this as long as I can?
It was a
because
thing.
Was it boundaries for you? Or was it more like, listen, I'm just not ready to deal with this because you was already feeling guilty about the action anyway. So what was it more? Was it the guilt and the shame or was it the denial?
It was a mixture of it all because I never dealt with it. Like I told you, when I got diagnosed, I went to work. And after that, I went on vacation. And then after that, life went on. I started a new job. I came from vacation. I had quit hair.
So the denial went from where you was at coming up in your denial to another volume of denial.
Right. You just kept going level to level to level.
Shit can't be happening.
Right. So before we close it, share what your crash looked like. I want people to really identify with what, because the crash is important. Like, it's one thing to crash and be like, nah, I ain't gonna tell everybody, go laugh. Because you see Mama Cece crash, right?
Yeah.
You saw me when I broke up with him. You saw me when I went back with him. And you saw me when the crash happened. So when you think about that crash, what did that look like for DeJour? Like, what was happening around him? Somebody had to stop you and be like, enough is enough is enough.
I crashed because I got a phone call from the health department. Wow. I got a phone call from the health department and like I told you, the one person I did tell was the person I was dealing with at the time.
Got it.
And he told me, oh, I'm straight. I just got tested. I'm good. So I got a call back from the health department and they says, well, hey, DeJour, I need you to make sure that you give us a list of everybody that you done dealt with because I know you told me the guy that you were dealing with came, had his test and he's good, but he needs to get tested again.
Right, because it's supposed to be 3 times. Yeah.
He has to get tested again. And that broke me down because I'm like, oh my God, what do you mean he has to get tested again? He told me he was okay. So they was like, he could still ended up, it can lie dormant and he could still end up having it. So the guilt tore me up. The guilt of, because at the time I didn't know when I was dealing with him, and we weren't doing anything. We weren't dealing unprotected. We weren't doing it. Neither one of us asked questions. So now I'm feeling guilty. Oh my God, I gave this lifelong sentence
to this guy.
Wow.
And I remember my brother was in their house with me, and he left to go to a friend's house. Shit. Sorry.
It's all right.
That's okay, Papa.
It's all right. You're free.
Whew, sorry. He left the house. I hung up and I said, oh my God, Lord, please don't make this man have this.
Wow.
Lord, please don't make him have this. I laid flat on the floor, face to the floor, flat on the ground. And I said, God, if you don't see fit for me to get up off this floor, make sure that man is okay.
Wow.
I don't have to get up. If you were to leave me here right now, I will be okay. I wasn't suicidal. I just was like, Lord God, if I need to make a trade-off, I will trade me for him.
Wow.
Make sure he is okay. I never told nobody that. I just kind of was like, oh my God. So I call my homegirl. I'm like, I'm crying. I'm like, oh my God, girl, I can't. She's over. Slow down, du jour. I can't understand what you're saying. Slow down, calm down. And I'm telling her the story, and then she kind of was like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to help you with this.
Yeah, most people don't know how to navigate that. Yeah.
So what she said was, I'm gonna give the phone to somebody I know who can, which was at the time my homegirl, her mother. Her mom got diagnosed with HIV time ago, and so she came and she talked to me. So I felt a little bit better then, but I'm still kind of like, oh my God. Everything that I kind of pushed to the back burners, didn't deal with, crashed down right then and there. Wow. So I drive, as dramatic as I am, it almost looked like a music video, like in the 90s, you crying in the music that you driving in your car. It was one of them. And I drove to my doctor's appointment. I didn't call. I just drove to my doctor. I didn't have an appointment. I just drove to the office. I drove to the office and I'm in there in tears. I'm like, oh my God, y'all, I gave this man this. I can't believe I did this. Oh my God, like, I can't believe I did this.
It's more like
was he positive?
No.
So no. It was more like you could deal with it on your own, the fact that you had it, but you didn't want to give it to somebody else. That would make you feel real guilty, real bad.
It tore because the nurse was like, this is not your cross to bear. The nurse was like, both of y'all are 2 responsible adults. You didn't do anything without his permission. He had just as much as responsibility as you did. So if this is the outcome of what's going on, then this is not completely your fault.
Right.
Wow.
But in my mind, it
took a long time to get back to that place, I'm sure.
But before that, before I met him, I was wilding. I was out here. I'm gonna say experimental. I was experimenting. I'm out here just like, didn't have no care in the world, because ultimately I'm like, this not gonna happen to me. Okay. Wow. I knew about it. I knew about what came from it, but I'm like, this not about to happen to me. I did good all my entire life. I know people who was fast and was out here just wilding and doing all stuff in school.
Wow.
That's not me. That wasn't me. I waited till I became an adult to do what I'm doing. So that's how me. how me? Why me? So it was that. And then I can't believe all of that irresponsibility is now I found somebody I like. And now this irresponsibility is now about to fall back on him. So that's
Wow.
kind of where I was with it. And it was like, this is not your, they had to calm me down. I had to go to therapy for it and everything. That therapy didn't work because I felt like my therapist was gay and
Like
couldn't.
Right, couldn't figure it out for you.
She couldn't tell me he was gay. So I'm like, it is not gonna work. So I stopped therapy for a little while. And I just kind of, a lot of stuff I kind of dealt with on my own. I'm very emotionally intelligent. So I can pick up on things. When I watch TV, I grab a lot of emotional cues. I grab cues from people. Like, I'm very emotionally intelligent. I'm an empath. I can feel everybody else's energy. So I can take heed and I can figure out and I can, maneuver like that. It became a problem where I started going to therapy again, where I felt like I was dumping on my friends and I needed to I need therapy. And also I kind of started pouring myself into my work more. Pouring myself into my work, and I'm starting to see some of those childhood traumas as far as you're not good enough, the confidence thing, those are starting to bubble up to the top now because everything is social media. And I don't just have to be a hairstylist. I have to be a hairstylist, a videographer, photographer,
content creator. Exactly.
They want me in front of the camera. So I'm not used to being in front of the camera. I'm not you still don't see me. You see me a little bit more so now, but
yeah, you're doing good at it now. I always wanted you to kind of do hair and kind of get out there because I knew that people seeing it and then how careful you are. Like, you're always, no matter what style you're doing on somebody, you're always worried about the health of their hair. You know what I mean? You're not just a cosmetologist. You're about healthy hair, healthy styles. You're not going to do a style on somebody that's going to pull their hair out. You're not about braiding tight with somebody look Chinese. So
you're an artiste.
Yeah, you are. You are. So
I see some of your stuff.
First of all, I want to take a deep breath and take a moment of silence.
I just want to thank you.
Listen, I know it's a lot. It's a lot.
Because
I want you to just thank you for.
I want
you. Don't even know me.
Yeah, you know and not only that you felt safe enough to share it with me. I'm sure more people know, but more people gonna know when I post this. So
right.
But I want to thank you for trusting me again. And there's been things that you said to me before that I've known before and all that. But for you to trust my space with this is gonna help a lot of people. My uncle died from AIDS. He died from sharing needles back in the day. And they treated him like crap. And he wasn't gay because they always said that AIDS was for the gay people. And that's not true. That is not true. There's some straight people out there that got it. The young girl that was born with AIDS just passed away. She was born HIV positive. So it's not a death sentence. Obviously, Mac and Johnson still walk around here buying shit, right? But it definitely hit me hard. I'm not gonna lie. That punched me in my chest just now. Yeah. Because y'all were my babies, and I think you know that. Like, at the end of the day, when y'all walked into my house, I always wanted my children's friends to feel welcome.
Yeah.
I wanted my house to be a place where if y'all had to run or y'all had to come someplace safe, I always wanted y'all to know that my house was that safe place, whether it was feeding y'all a plate of food, whether it was driving y'all home from that tech center, whether it was driving y'all through the McDonald's drive-thru. That was Mama Cece. And I don't take those words like I am a mama. And if you need me at 2 a.m, at 3 a.m, at 4 a.m, you better pick up that phone, young brother. This is not your battle no more. Do you understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
It is your village's battle. I'm about to go from a double D baby to a whole B cup out in these streets. And I have learned the hard way that you cannot do these battles alone. God did not create us to do it alone. I want to say this to you. You are forgiven, you are redeemed, and you are delivered, and you are healed. Walk that out. Because no matter what they tell us, no matter what they say, no matter what narrative they try to convince us, you are called to do great things. And forgive yourself, forgive those around you, and give yourself some grace. Because it's grace and mercy. You understand me? Mercy is real, and it's not for the weak. Mercy is real. I wanted to die plenty of nights, Dijon, coming out of that relationship. I wanted to not be here. It's real. Mm-hmm. And so as you navigate this journey as an adult man, as an adult Black chocolate man, I cannot sit here and tell you it's going to get easier. I wish I could. It's not going to get easier. But if you surround yourself with the right village and you allow your heart to be open to the village, then there will be no more hiding. The first thing God said to Eve, to Adam was, where are you? He wasn't concerned about what he did. He asked him where he was. He wasn't talking about him physically. He was talking about him mentally. Where are you? It wasn't about Adam and Steve, like they said. It wasn't about that. It was about love. I told you to do something. You didn't carry it out. Now, the plan was already in place. Christ was already coming.
Right.
So find your word, find your scripture, find your scripture. That's for you. Because see, 91 worked for me 20 years ago. Now I gotta find a new Psalms. You feel me? Because I'm not who I was back then. You became all that you were supposed to become in spite of everything. You are still here because God got a plan for you. Mm-hmm. Elohim has a plan for you. And it might not be in the church building. Your church is that chair. You're healing people by day. Do you know how much crap I felt like when I came to see you that day? It hurt to not have my hair, my natural hair is down to here. And to be bald,
it takes something.
It takes from my self-esteem. It takes from my everyday life. But to see you touch on it and feel on it and say, no, we can make this work, Mom. We can fix it. It's going to be okay.
That's a gift, man.
That's a gift. And so don't let nobody tell you that your gift precedes what purpose God has for you. So many of us living below our gift and purpose. So call on me. This is not just about a podcast for me. This is about one life at a time. Sure. You could have gave up in 2017, and we've been talking about another statistic. You could have gave up in 2021. You could have gave up in 2022, 23, 24. You could have said F it during COVID and said, you know what? I'm done. But you're still here. And there's a divine calling on your life. And it has nothing to do with the choices you make. Because if it did, half of us would be in oblivion like Sarah did when God said, don't turn around, keep walking. You understand? And she didn't listen. It was the bottom line was listen. And it's the listen on the inside of you. At the end of the day, That's your navigation. It's your ability to go, nah, let me go left today. Let me go down this street today. Let me call this person and say, I'm giving out 3 free hairdos today. You don't know who you're gonna bless. You don't know who's sitting in your chair. But what I do know, du jour, is the moment that you got a chair, you blessed out a lot of people. There's a lot of people on the low that came through and only paid you $30, $40 because that's all they had.
Yeah, you know, hairdos nowadays.
Now you selling hair with your name on it.
That's good.
So plug that real quick. Let's talk about that real quick.
Okay.
How we get an appointment with du jour.
Yeah.
And just know at the end of the day, if don't nobody else phone ring 24 hours, mine does. You understand me?
So we wanna
and I love you.
With the podcast. Somebody, when we do air it, after you review it, somebody's going to that have a similar life that you led in your times of decision making and all the things you told us on this podcast. There's gonna be a young man out there that's gonna hear this. And we want to let them know that we're not gonna glorify that because that's something that you have, but it don't got you. Period. You understand what I'm saying? And now we want that person to know, or those persons to know, that they can create and get the gift of God within them to come out and be a blessing to those around them. Now we want you to talk about your hair, how you created it, where's it at, where they can find it, where they can find you to get it done or sent to them, and take it from there. And just let's glorify
Plug yourself. Plug yourself. Give yourself a round of applause.
The God got you here. That's fun.
I'm gonna close out all of that by saying, if I could speak to younger du jour or the younger me or people like me, keep going. Also, to just be present in what's going on and stick to your guns and just be careful who you surround yourself with. Because I must say that was my saving grace. I've always had good people around me because my life could have been a completely different story. So the people around me that I surrounded myself with, that my people surrounded me with, kept me in the right direction. So stick to your dream. If you don't got nothing else, you got hair. And hair, it kept me through. But to plug in and going into hair, to plug in that, y'all can find me on Facebook at Du Jour Artist, DAJOURARTIS. On Instagram, you can find me on I am Du Jour Artist on Instagram. On my hair page. So if you're interested in buying and getting hair, so I sell raw Cambodian hair. This is some of the hair that I'm going to be selling coming soon. This will be a new texture coming really soon. You can find that on Instagram at Jador Hair. So that is JADOUR hair.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
I flipped it because everybody everybody says my name incorrectly. So mispronounce my name all the time and calls me Jador, and I'm like, oh, that sounds expensive. Let's flip it. So we did that, but the hair came about. Me selling hair has always been a dream of mine. I've always wanted to have hair in stores. Like before bundles became a thing, when you opened the hair magazine, they had like the little hair campaigns or whatever. I wanted that to be my hair. I wanted store and you pick up a pack of hair. I wanted my name to be on it.
So dreams, in spite of nightmares, dreams do come true.
Very true. It's been a long time coming.
So when you think about the word I'm still here and you have to talk to the future you, what's the three words you want to make sure that 45-year-old you remembers? 3 words.
It gotta be 3. Can I do 4?
Yes.
Okay. Wow, you're doing it.
Wow, you're doing it. That's
Look at you. I love you.
I love you too. Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. So I want you to say a prayer for those out there that are still struggling, that have not come to a place of peace, and religiously they're battling. So
yeah.
take it from there.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, I come to you as humbly as I know how. I'm coming to you praying for the younger du jour. I'm coming to you praying for all those younger kids that are younger kids, younger adults, younger teenagers that are unsure. You made no mistakes, Lord God. You made everybody how you intended for them to be made. You built me in your image, and I thank you. I thank you for where you brought me. I thank you for where you're taking me. I thank you for what you protected me from. I thank you for everything that you're doing, everything that you've done, and everything that is here to come in the future. I thank you. I love you, and there's nothing left. You've done it all. You've done it all. You are the way maker. You are the everything. You are my everything. And I thank you, Lord God. Amen.
Amen. Wow. I'm going to end that right there. Hold on.
Right there.
Mm.
Right.